What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Big Asuchia. It's a beautiful evening, nice and quiet. I'm going to talk about some things right now that may make some folk angry, some folk upset, some folk I don't care. I don't care. I could care less how anyone feels in this moment. There are times where when you are going through transitions in life. Life is about transitions. Let me start there. Life is about transitions. And it doesn't matter how smart you are, how wise you are, how many degrees you have. Yeah, you go to school and you train yourself in many different ways to become the best that you can be. You try your best to be the most humble and the most greatest person that you can be. This is what life is about, doing your best to become the best so that you can help someone else, maybe even, or to provide for your family, to give substance to your home. You go to church to improve on your personal outlook on life. Some go to, in so many words, in some respects, to validate what they already know about life. They go to church, some, to validate what they need to know about death. You know, what's going to happen when they die. They need to know that. And they need to have the optimism that everything is going to be okay once they die. For some people, even just to get the social interaction, people go to church for those reasons. And don't get me wrong, I'm getting to transitions. This is all going back to transitions because we all go through life's transition in some way. We all have to deal with transition in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I don't care who you are, whether you're going from young to old, from your 7-year-old, your K through 7 to the point where you hit your preteens and your 10, and then you hit your full on teenage years when you turn about 14, 15. 13, you're there, but really when you're 13, you're really much no different than a 10-year-old. But when you turn about 15, that's when you start to really get into those teenage years and those hormones really start going crazy, and you really don't understand all the things that life is entailing to you. You get about 18, well, now you're considered an adult, but you're still a kid because your mind is still thinking like a kid. Your concepts of love, your concepts of life in general, you're still bouncing off the ground when you hit it. You're not staying down there long. You're just jumping right back up because you're 18 years old. 18 to 21, maybe even into 25. Now you have to try to go and live and become an adult and do adult things. You have to try to live your life the best way that you know how. And in these transitions, there are many things that can happen. People die, you make decisions that are good for you, but may seem bad for others. See, decisions are never bad when it's just affecting you, right? It's always good to have a good decision when it doesn't affect you, when it's just about you. But when it becomes about somebody else or just other things that get involved, decisions become very hard to make. Transition in and of itself becomes a very hard thing. Usually when I record videos, I was never going to start doing visual videos again. I was going to stick with the podcast look and just put up a picture and just hold it there and just say everything that I want to say. But this conversation actually requires a little bit of my visualization. because I want to make sure that everybody sees my face when I say these things, because I want to make sure that each and every person understands that I am not in no way playing when I say these words. That this is not me just reading off some random script. That I had to come out of some type of a conclusion before I made this thing. No, I wanted to make sure that it was pure, that it was raw, and that it was honest. Something that in this generation people hate. People hate to be honest. People want to tell you about you. Everybody has an opinion about your life. Whether you're in a good side of your life or in a bad spot of your life, everyone has a say-so into what happens with your life. You know, it used to be your parents. Your parents say something and they want to see that you go in that direction, you know, be it in a healthy and constructive direction. They want to see that you're making good and reasonable decisions. That your transitions are not as hard because they've been through it and they know exactly what you're going through. However, your life is still your decision to make. Especially once you get about 15 years old, you start making decisions on your own. You start thinking for yourself. You start wanting to do things on your own, ad hoc. You don't need everybody's opinion about what is right and wrong for your life. Some people will call you prideful. Some people will call you rebellious. Some people would say that you're bucking against the system, and maybe you are. But as I was taught as a kid, society may draw a circle that shuts you out, but it's your thoughts, your spiritual thoughts that draw you in. It's not anybody else's decisions to make about your life, about your decisions. They can dislike it. Heck, they might actually be affected by it a little bit. But at the end of the day, every decision that you make in your life is ultimately your own. Any failures that you have in life are ultimately because of the decisions that you chose to make. And inevitably, even as it gets to the end of your life, you also have a choice on how you choose to view how you live and die. Be it that you're a Christian and you believe that, Jesus rose from the dead and he's gone away to prepare a place for you. And one day he'll receive you unto himself, where he is, you will be also. Or you can believe contrary to that belief, whatever belief you want to put there. You can believe that even that Barney from Barney and Friends is your Lord and Savior, and he's the one that's going to save you from all evil and all hurt, harm, and danger, and that you can just have a positive life for no matter what happens. You can believe that. That's your choice. And some people may see it as negative, of course, because you're not listening to what they say. The theys always want to have control over your life. They want to know what happens with you, and they want to control what happens to you, and they want to control the narrative of what happens to your life and who you are as a person. They always want to, whoever the theys are, whoever that holds a high opinion about who you are. No one deserves that. No one deserves to have that type of power over your life except for you. No one. Not even this, me telling you this right now should never dictate how you choose to live your life. You make those decisions. God doesn't even make those decisions for you. Interesting enough, he could, very well could. But he doesn't even make the decisions for you. He allows you the right for choice to say what you are and what you're not. See, when I was a kid, I hated when anyone tried to tell me who or what I was going to be. If you told me I was going to be low down and dirty, I would be good and courageous just to buck against what you're trying to say about me. If you told me I was going to be a rebellious something, I was never going to be rebellious. Why? Because it's bucking against exactly what you're saying. I don't care. That's just the way I am. That's who I choose to be. That's how I view myself. You will never tell Vassell who I am. You will never tell Big Ox who I am. I know who I am. I know whose I am. I may not know all of my heritage. I may not know who every last person was that worked to help make me the man that I am here today. But you will never hear me say the words, I don't know who I am. I know who I am. And I know who my father is. And I know who my spiritual father is. And I don't need anyone else to tell me who I am. I don't need anyone's approval. I'm not attention seeking. See, I don't need anyone to validate Vassell. No one. Not a man, not a woman, not my mama, not my daddy. A lot of people call me retarded as a kid. I'm more intelligent than most of those people. Yeah, I said it. I work hard for this. They called me dumb just because I was in LD classes. That didn't mean nothing to me. I rose above that too. They said I wouldn't graduate. I did that too. They said I want to go to college. Did that too. They said I want to be an engineer. Did that too. They said I couldn't do desktop support. Did that too. They said a whole lot about me. Tell me who I am. Tell me what I'm supposed to be. No one has that right. And no one should have that right in your life either. You choose who you want to be. You live your life according to that. That's even spiritually. No one has the right to tell you to worship Christ. No, you worship him because you choose to. That's it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you choose to be atheist because you choose to be atheist. Not because somebody told you to be atheist. You know, there was a time when I listened to people all the time and listened to what they told me to do. You're this way. And I said, you know what? Maybe you're right. You know, when I first started preaching, there were people who would sit around and say, Vassell, you're a prophet. You're a prophet. And you need to get out there and be prophesying and doing all these things. And you know what? I used to believe them. Because I started listening to people rather than knowing the truth. Excuse me, that was not a prophetic bone in my body. And then, of course, I got the people who call themselves prophets coming up to me and telling me who I was going to marry, who I was going to be with, what church I was going to be a part of, you know, how many churches I was going to pastor, and none of those things came to fruition. You know why? Because they were not in control. They don't have the right to say what I'm going to be or what I'm not going to be, what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. They don't know. They just doing a whole lot of talking. Everybody want to put their spin on what's going on in your life. Here's the most positive thing you're going to hear come from any other channel. You're not going to hear it from anyone else. They don't always know. And even if they do, they don't know how to get you there. Hold on to the truth. Seek the truth. Know the truth. Know it for yourself. And don't wait on anyone else to tell you that it's okay to be yourself. You be the best you could be every single day. Even if everyone else thinks you're stupid. Even if everyone else calls you dumb. Yeah, they'll call you prideful. Absolutely they will. They're going to call you hard-headed. Absolutely, they will. They're going to call you, bullheaded. Absolutely, they will. They might even call you a little retarded. They might call you crazy. All those things. They'll call you all those things. Because whenever someone is not right and they're not stepping right and they're not doing it the right way and they don't have the right heart into it, you can always know because they're going to call you things that are completely detrimental to anyone's growth. They're going to name you. They're going to label you. That's how you know it's not genuine. Because the most genuine people would never go and label you just because you don't understand what they're saying today. A genuine person doesn't wait on someone to go into what they feel is right. They don't do that. That's not what genuine people do. Genuine people, and I don't care how long this video is. I don't care if I go a whole hour. Genuine people do not do those things. Genuine people do not sit around and debate you about what's right and wrong in your life. Genuine people would say, hey, there's something that you may want to try, and leave it at that. Give you the information, and that's it. They don't take it personally if you don't. They pray for you and leave it alone. But never should they ever label you anything, because that's not genuine. It's the same thing with people who call people who don't understand the Bible completely heretics. If you just starting off and you don't know nothing about the Bible, but you're trying to talk about the Bible and you're trying to at least talk with what you do know with, but you don't really know how to express yourself, that's not a heretic. That's a person that's still learning. Some people call them babies. I don't call them babies. I call them new Christians. They're new, but they're not babies. I wouldn't do that to somebody. I mean, you could be in Christianity for 30 years. There's still people who've been saved all their lives and, be honest, cannot spread the gospel for nothing. They're not good at it. That's just not their biggest. They do their best. For some people, the easiest way for them to spread the gospel is to bring somebody to the church. That's it. That's all they got. But genuine people do not label you stuff, especially stuff that they know is insulting. The moment they get into insulting you, the moment that they get into just downright putting you down, that's when it's not genuine. That's when it's their feelings. That's when they're in their own heart, but they're not being real. Now, what they said could be somewhat true, but that doesn't make it real. That doesn't make it truthful. It could be still a lie. Some people want to step into arenas that they don't even belong in because they think that they know everything. And anyone that ever tells you that they're 100% right about everything, that's a person you really don't listen to. Anybody that says they're 100% is always 0%. At least about you. Look, I've been preaching for 26 years, and I am never right 100% of the time. The only time I'm right is when I'm quoting the Bible. Anything that's my own opinion is not biblical, is not truth, and is not completely. I can get it to my own place. I can get it to my own way. It happens. Have I done it? Absolutely. Do I still talk off the cuff sometimes? Absolutely. But does that mean that every single time? No. But at the same time, I'm also aware that if I sit there and I keep telling people, hey, you know what? This is what the Bible says, and I haven't even really opened it up and told you that, then I'm speaking from my own self, which means I can be right and I can be wrong. It's an opinion. Some people can say it's fact. Can there be facts outside of the Bible? Absolutely. Can there be genuine discussion? Absolutely, if it's genuine discussion. But if it's not genuine discussion and it's just you and me having a debate about my life, that's not genuine discussion. In fact, my life is of no discussion to anyone. I don't care who you are. And I mean that. I mean that wholeheartedly. And I don't care who hears it. I don't care how loud I say it. I don't care who walks in and tells me to shut up. I mean it. And you should too. Should. But it's up to you. I'm creating this video, and at the end of the day, if you choose to live your life contrary to everything that I say in this video, it's up to you. It's your life. Live your life. In the words of Miss Van Time, my old English teacher, play your own fiddle. It's your life to play. No one else can play it for you. No one can make it sound the way you make it sound. You are important to the world. You are. Your life is important to the world. And the way you play your fiddle, the way you choose to play your life is exactly the way it should be played. And if anyone else finds it to be negative, well, that's them being negative in their whole heart about themselves. They are not talking about you. They're talking about themselves. Because they obviously don't know you. If somebody wants you to take their word for it, but they don't want you to test them at all, they just want you to take their word for it, like you LeVar Burton on Reading Rainbow. Even he says you don't have to take my word for it. Go read it for yourself. But then, you know, he says it. He tells you to. Go research for yourself. Go figure it out for yourself. Don't wait on me to tell you something that you should know about yourself. On this channel, I tell you all the time, think for yourself. Think independently. Research. Don't wait on someone else to tell you what to do. That's for you to want to do. A free thinker doesn't wait on someone else to tell them how to think. Think for yourself. Don't join a party. Why do you need a party? Just vote for what's right by doing the research and finding out for yourself. You hear me say it all the time on this channel. You don't have to like the same anime that I like. I don't care. You don't have to read the same books that I read. I don't care. In fact, I want to know what you read. Give me something different. You don't have to read the same manga as me. You don't have to read the same comic books as me. You don't have to like the same sports teams as I do. Yeah, I may rag on your team and enjoy it because that's fun. But you don't have to do it. I'm not expecting it. I'm expecting people to be honest with who they are. That's what I would like. But you can live a lie too. If you want to live your life in a lie, you have the right to do so. That's your life. You have freedom of choice. A God-given right to live however you want to live. Yes, I repeated myself a lot in this video because I want to knead that into your mind. Freedom from God in Jesus has always been freedom of thought. Freedom to know the truth, to read the truth, to seek it out for yourself, and let no one else just tell you and you not test the spirit. Half the reason why black folks in the degree of issues we in because we don't always test the spirit to whom is speaking to us. And I'm not just talking about, a Christianity. I'm talking about from life in general. If someone tells you something, test it. Don't just take it. If the teacher says it's 1 + 1, well, then you need to go and look at a book to make sure 1 + 1 is 2. Yeah, you got 2 fingers. Hey, you can test that theory. 1 + 1 is 2. Or, hold up 2 books. I don't know. But anyway, you can test it. There's a way to test it. There are methodologies for testing. And if there is no methodology, there's no resource. At least with Christianity, you can at least say there is a book that you can test their ideas against. If they don't believe against these ideas, well, then guess what? They're not truly believing in Christ. If they don't believe the New Testament, they don't have to believe everything that's in the Old Testament because they weren't meant for the Gentiles to begin with. Gentiles had no laws. The laws that he had, he just writ them on their hearts. That's it. The world would know the laws because he wrote it on their hearts. Now, you don't have to find that out for me. You can go read your Bible and find that out. Just that simple. Do the research for yourself. Think for yourself. Be the best you can be. Most of all, while you're in transition, really important part of it, be as loving and kind as you can be to those who just can't do it themselves. I'm a Big Oxuchi, and I'm out of here.